Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Alright, so in the previous video I forgot to mention that the selection can be cleared by just clicking an empty space in here. That's why we put that else statement to do that for us. Okay? Alright, so what we want is to add an actual question here and then be able to save all of this. So we have a save button here and a cancel button here. So let's go back to our drawing board, and in our index file here, let's see what we have. So this is the canvas holder, and down here let's put another div over here, and in here we're going to put a few buttons. This one is cancel, and we're going to put another one called save. Now of course you can style these buttons as you wish to make them more appealing. Let's just put a class of button here. So we're going to say button like that. Actually there is a class. Okay, that's better. Now I want these guys over here, of course. So let's try and copy the canvas holder. Maybe we can do that. Just put a class of canvas holder here. Let me see what that will do. Almost works, yeah. But I think there's a bit of too much margin. So let's put a style here and just say margin top. Let's put that at 0 pixels. Let's see if that actually helps, and it does. Okay, maybe that's too much. Let's put 1 pixel just so there's a line there. And also on this one, the save button, I'm going to put a style of float to the right. Okay, actually instead of doing this, what I can do is, let's do this. Float right actually does work. Let's see. Doesn't seem like it does work at all. Okay, that may be due to some classes involved in canvas holder. Let's see here. Is it display flex? Yes, it is. Okay, so that might be the problem. So all we need to do is just add justify content, and we use the space between setting here, which will leave the space in between and move each item to the very ends. So there we go. We have save. We're going to be assuming this is a question, so we're going to say save question or save puzzle, maybe. That sounds more appropriate. All right, so we save that, and we're going to put an on-click listener on here. I'm going to say on-click save underscore puzzle, like that. All right, and on this one, on-click cancel puzzle or whatever. Okay, so that's great. Cancel should just take us to another page, or maybe clear everything. I don't know. That's one thing to think about. Okay. So to save a puzzle, wait a second, we have that. Oh, we need the question here. Almost forgot. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Copy. Let's go to the top. I could have designed this a little bit better, but this is what we got. Let's put a text area here, and I'm gonna put a few styles. First of all, the width should be 100%. Let's add a few rows like maybe 3 rows or something. So let's refresh, and there it is. So you see that that's where our question will be, over there. And this one should change to margin bottom. Probably both top and bottom should have that, but oh wait, what's going on? Margin bottom 1 pixel and margin top as well. Maybe we'll leave the margin top. I'll copy this onto this guy here. I'm gonna do style, margin top should be 1 pixel. Okay, just trying to get rid of that space at the top here. Let's put a placeholder in there as well. So in the text area, we're gonna put a placeholder and say, I don't know, type some instruction to your puzzle. Okay, something like that. And there we go. Okay, goody. So let's give this guy a name. So input of I don't know, could be instruction. Yeah, something like that. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so when I click save puzzle here, it should save, but not before I put something here. So we should actually check for that. So let's see where it says please add an image first. So we're gonna put this if statement over there, because that actually does check. So let's add the function here, save puzzle, at the end. So function save puzzle, like that. Okay, I'm gonna paste that. So first of all, it checks to see if there's an image. Please add an image first, and then please make a selection first as well. So if, wait a second, save selection. All I need to do is actually just check selections.length. So here I'm just going to duplicate this. If there's no selection, please make at least one selection on the image. Something like that. Okay, so you can put your own messages there. So at this point, we want to save the data. Okay, so we need to figure out what exactly are we saving here. So if I load an image, for example, okay, let me just try and save here. Say save, say please add an image first. So load image. Okay, there we go. If I try to save now, it says please make at least one selection on the image. Okay, great. So now we'll make one selection at least, like so. Okay, so exactly what are we saving? We're saving the instruction here, that's number 1. And then we're going to save where each of these boxes is in relation to the image. Okay, and then we need to save the image itself as well. And then we need to save these images as well here. Okay, so quite a bit to save there. Now the thing is, in order to save things, we need a database. Usually that's what we use. So we're going to have to create a database. Now keep in mind that these are images, and you should never save images in your database directly into the database. What you should do is save the images to an actual file, and then simply save the link to the file in your database. That's all you need to do. So we can collect the data that we want here, no problem. And yeah, that can't be difficult to do. And then we'll send that data through Ajax. And maybe a progress bar will do it, depending on how large the images are, but this probably not necessary. So what we're going to do now to save the data is to create a form. So I'm going to say let my form is equal to new form data. Now careful with the capitalization there. So this is how you create an artificial form here on the fly. So we just need to add items to this. I'm going to say my form.append, and then we do a key value pair. So the first thing we need is to save the instruction, right? So we're going to call this one instruction, and then a comma, and we need to grab that instruction from the text area, right? So let's go to the text area, which is this one, and it has that name. Now you can simply put let's see, if I add a div outside here, would it interfere with anything else? And then this one I can give it a class name of, say, form or something. Let me refresh. Let's load an image. Okay, so it didn't seem to have disturbed anything, so that's great. That way I can just grab this form and then look for things within it. Okay, so let's go down here. So let's do let form container is equal to document.querySelector, and it's a class named, it's named form actually, isn't it? Yes. So now we can grab things from there. So I'm gonna do this and say my form container.querySelector, and there's only one text area. Now if it had a you wanted to target it directly, you can use, actually that's what we should do. There's no need to give it a where is this, a name. Let's just give it an ID instead, or you could give it a class. That's fine as well. All right, so that's one thing I want. And then I also want the image itself, which is inside this. So this one has a class of image input, which is fine. And then I have instruction, I have image input, and then I have this class images that contains, actually I don't need that. All I need is the instruction here and this image. The rest of the data is actually stored inside these two here, the selections and the selected images. Alrighty then, so let's go down here. On this one I want instruction, so it's dot instruction. Okay, so once I grab that, I want its value, so I'm going to do dot value. So because this part just grabs the text area and then we grab its value from there. So the second thing we need, let me move this down here like so. Now I need to grab the, what was that? The actual background image. So here I'm gonna give this one a key of, let's call it main image, shall we? Main underscore image as the key. And then here what I'm going to grab is image input, I think that's the class name. And then instead of dot value, here we're gonna get dot files, because a file input has a files attribute, and we grab the first item in there. All right, so let's duplicate some more. Here I want to grab the selections, right? I'm gonna call this one selections, and of course we want to move that selections array with us. But the thing is, we can't transfer an array through the internet, right? We need to convert it to a string. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert it to JSON. So we're going to use the stringify function of the JSON object here. So we're going to say json.stringify this, and it's going to convert this, whatever data it has, into an actual string that we can transfer. So selections, and what's the other one called? Selected images? Yes, that one right there. So copy selections, and there's selected underscore images, right? Which we're going to do exactly the same thing with that array. So this is all the data we actually need to send in order to be able to recreate what we've just done with the user. First of all, that instruction and the main image behind there, and the boxes we selected, and those actual selected images on the right side. So with that, we have everything we need. Now all we need to do is transmit that data. So send via Ajax, like so. So we want to send this through Ajax. So how do we do that? Easy peasy. We're going to create an object. We're going to call it XHR, but you can call it anything you want. And we're going to create an XML HTTP request, like so. Okay. So now we say XHR dot. A few things you need to do. First of all, add an event listener immediately. We want to listen for when things are good. We're going to listen for the ready state change event. And in there, we're going to run a function like so. When we add an event listener, that function will run when the event happens. And here we want to check if the XHR dot status is equal to 4. Alright, not status, actually the ready state. That's because that's the event we're checking for. So the XML HTTP request is an object that allows us to pretend like we've clicked the post or submit button on a form. So we're going to simulate that. So we have our form here that we've created. Now we want to actually send it through the internet to our server. So this is the object that allows you to do that, but you need to listen in for a reply. So this is what we are doing here. We're adding an event listener on the ready state change. This thing has 4 states. So by the time it gets to the 4th state, then it's done. So 4th state means it's done. You don't need to care about the other states at all, because those states are, for example, the open state. We don't need to know about that, and the send state, like that. But then the receive state is 4, and that's all we care about. So what are we sending here? We're sending the form, so we're going to put the form in there. But on the open, when we open the gate to send, we have to tell it what mode we are using, and we are using the post method, right? And then we should tell it which file we are trying to access. In this case, I'm just going to call the file ajax.php, and then we'll put true to say this should work asynchronously, meaning we can still do stuff on the page while this is uploading. Now, uploading can take a while, and sometimes you may be tempted to click the button again. Maybe things didn't work out for some reason. So what we would do is we're going to create a variable that tells us whether we are saving or uploading or not. So I'm going to say uploading is equal to false. So we start with that and say we are not uploading right now. So that's great. I'm going to copy that. Let's get back to the save here. And whenever we reach the ready state 4, we should immediately set the uploading to false. because at that point we are no longer uploading. And then right at the top here, we're going to ask our question, are we uploading or not? We can just say uploading, if uploading, and then we return. That way we don't go any further. And it must be a good idea to alert the user, say, please wait, uploading in progress, or something, I don't know, and then return. And then immediately after, we say uploading is equal to true. Because if we bypass this, it means we are not uploading at that point, then we start uploading, right? Okay, that way when we click the button again, it will not get past here until the ready state is back to 4. Alrighty, so on this end everything is cool, and then finally I just want to do a console.log to get the result. So console.log, and the result is always inside the response text object. Okie dokie. So that is great. Very good. Very, very good. Right, so we haven't tested this, but I'm convinced it's gonna work just fine. We will do the testing in the next video. For now, this is what we've got. Let me put an alert here, actually. Let's go to the ready state 4. I'm gonna say alert, saving complete, exclamation point. Goody. Now we don't have an ajax.php file, so this is going to cause a problem. So immediately I'm just going to create a new file, just empty file, just call it ajax.php and save it. Very good. Let's get back here. Let me refresh. Let me load an image. Let me just make one selection, and let me save puzzle, and it says save complete. Awesomeness. But nothing was saved really, because the file is empty that's supposed to receive this data, and we're going to fix that in the next video.